past photos in his cover, you can actually see that there's these little like icons here. So technically, these ones completely fine because it's just the socials, right? So you can technically do those ones. I'll show you one that's not. These ones are not good whatsoever. So if the DSPs see this, they're gonna get really pissed at Scott, and they did. They got pissed at the label, basically. So Spotify hasn't been pushing back as much, but this year they're starting to like super push back. I was just on a call with them last week and with one of my hip hop artists, and they're like, they literally were like, take this off the banner or you're not getting playlists. So be very fucking careful when you're putting anything like that up. I'm gonna show you what you can.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The links, like with the multiple.
That's fine because you're directing to different DSPs, right?
Okay, so the links are totally cool.
Yeah, so
it's just like the visual
so there's this few
representation
different ones. So there's Link.to, which is a paid one. Bitly. My favorite is Smart URL. I would never use Bitly, to be honest, because Bitly just does not give you the same analytics as Smart URL does. And Smart URL is also female owned and Canadian based. So I try to like put my, I don't know, I try to be conscious with the platforms that I use. Bitly has had a bit of weird reports from their tech department of how they treat women, so I fucking refuse to use Bitly. So, like, I'm legitimately, so I make these weird conscious decisions because, like, being on my side of the industry and stuff, there's only so much I can do to, like I talk about digital well-being a lot, like how to block off certain keywords that trigger you and things like that, but otherwise, like, I can make those little moves to make a difference instead of giving them my business, right? So, but yeah, Bitly is kind of shit that way, but Smart URL, does everybody know Smart URLs? Like, yeah, some nodes. Okay, I'm gonna just show you guys the nodes. So, I like Smart URL better than my boyfriend, and I tell him a lot. I'm just like, this is very useful. Hint, I'm just joking, he's great. Basically, with Smart URL, it's a way to direct people to your song, to your video, to an article link, to basically anything you have, but in a strategic way. So these are my current Smart URLs. I'll show you one of the hip hop artists I'm working with. This is his Smart URL, so it directs to multiple things, different ways you can do it. So this is what Sarah was talking about in terms of the different links. So we do have the Spotify, Apple, and iTunes here, but they're completely fine with it. What you do have to do, though, is if you're talking about Spotify in a post directly, like say you have a pre-save card. Does everyone know what a pre-save card is? Versus, okay, so these are like really cool things you can do online to still appease Spotify. So I'm gonna just go into my drive because I have a secret drive with all my things. I have to ask nobody to take photos of the screens because private information is going up. So. Through T. We're just on T's project. T plays tonight at 8:45 at Marigold. Manager hat. But this is our loser single creative for the single from yesterday. So, coming soon. This is a pre-save card. Super simple. It has pre-save now on Spotify, the Smart URL at the bottom, and it's a way to push people directly to Spotify. So, this Smart URL, technically, I'll admit that this is technically just for show. When I'm posting about it, I'm going to use the direct Smart URL to Spotify because you can pull that via your Smart URL. So when I go actually back into this, if I'm looking at my, where is it? My bypass URLs over here. So you can do smarturl.it/first/flight-out/Spotify, and it'll direct directly to Spotify, and Spotify wants to see that more than they want to see just a plain Smart URL going up on your socials. Kind of ridiculous, but they want to segment it so they are getting the love that they deserve for giving you love, basically. Apple Music is like impossible to even connect with, basically, as an artist. They don't really do much for artists, so I wouldn't even like really truthfully look at it as like a main point of your strategy. You can create playlists there, sure, but like, I mean, the playlists that they put artists on are only like the heavy top 40 artists. They'll never put like an independent artist on their stuff, so they even refuse to talk to anybody outside of a label. So even when you're on a label, they make you pay to upload content. So I try not to fuck with Apple whatsoever because I don't think you should be charging your artists to upload stuff to the platform. Yeah, right? Like, I'm like, yeah, right? So So just a little bit weird about that, but just something to keep in mind in terms of your strategy is like that's why I have Spotify cards, but I won't necessarily have one for Apple because it's just not a focus in my world right now. Depends on what what level you're at, of course, right? So we'll keep going through Rini stuff. Let's look at her Bitly where it goes to. So yeah, it's basically the exact same thing. So you can hide these, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would suggest to do that just because like this is like only for admin. Like I should not be able to edit her smart URL in the slightest. Or her Bitly, right? So what I really like about smart URL as well is that you can add video to the top. You can add like a little streaming thing so you can actually like stream directly on it. Since we're in an urban track today, I want to talk about like how SoundCloud should never be used in general. Like honestly, like unless you are pushing towards like trying to get people to like listen in advance to maybe secure an album streams also should never be done because Spotify and they won't touch you after either because you've already premiered it somewhere else. You won't put down any of the New Music Friday playlists or anything like that. So album premieres are very very sticky, so you have to basically choose one or the other, what your track is. Like, do I need Spotify and like playlist love, or do I need this, you know what I mean? Like people to just like discover, so where you are in your career. So you have to be very careful though, because I do have an artist right now who is releasing stuff on SoundCloud but also does have a label, so they are now in like very deep water with the label because they're not allowed to do that, and it takes away everything. I'm going to show you what happened to Notify in his smart URL when we decided he wanted to release something on SoundCloud before it was out on Spotify. We advised him against it. What I always do when I manage is I default to what the artist wants. I'll always advise what's best, but at the end of the day, it's their career. I can't like force them to do something that they don't want to do. So that's what happened here. So when we actually look at his smart URL, so this is now on Spotify. It was serviced last Friday. He just released another SoundCloud thing yesterday, so I don't know what's going to happen with this. Basically, this single's basically dead because a new one is being pushed out now. So, but when we look at the stats, we can see that the majority of the pushes from this, because we had it on SoundCloud for a week before, were through SoundCloud. It actually didn't even like basically like no one gives a fuck about our Spotify or anything else because of the fact that they could get it for free for the week before. So now they're saturated. He's starting to push something else. We lost all of our actual streams, our revenue, potential playlists, everything like that. So you have to be very careful with that kind of stuff. Spotify and like DSPs, labels, they all want to see at least a 6-week window between singles. So
after the release happens, are you saying you even don't have it on SoundCloud then, or at least don't put it in your link maybe?
I never have it on SoundCloud in my opinion.
Yeah,
honestly, like why would you like give it to people for free if you can make like the tiniest bit of revenue, or even like for instance, like Spotify wants a story basically, so they're not just going to put you on a playlist just with your first single unless it's like magic. So they want to see you building something. So if you're consistently like giving stuff for free on another platform, then like using Spotify like as a secondary thing just for a push, they're not going to like necessarily pay attention to you because you're not, again, like using the DSPs properly. So you're giving it to people just for free for nothing. SoundCloud doesn't have advertising options, like in terms of like connecting with like other socials and things like that. There's no revenue off of it whatsoever. There's like really no playlist options in the sense like you can really discover where you've been added to throughout the world, remixes, unless you like it comes by you basically. So it's just like really not a good platform to use in my opinion at all. The only time I'll send it out is again when I'm sending something like I need you to listen to this in case that you want to premiere this music video or something like that. Like, yeah, just like to solicit people, but it never ever would it be public facing. And that's just like a general like rule on like the label-ish side of the industry as well. So
same thing for Bandcamp?
Yeah, so Bandcamps, I love Bandcamp personally. I like punk. Punk is like my baby, so that's where I discover my music. So Bandcamp is like the best for punk discoveries. So I like it. I really do, personally. And yeah, they do have the discovery tool, but again, it's just not up there. But it depends on what your genre is. If you are in like one of the punker like style genres, especially stateside, it is your tool for discovery. And I know that a lot of people argue that like backpack rappers, like hip hop is really good on SoundCloud, but again, we need to change the model because it's all about revenue. And if you're fucking yourself over with your revenue streams, like you're never going to expect anything to happen. There's this really cool new social streaming site that's coming out next year. I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's already in China, and it allows you to, it's the exact same revenue models as Spotify, so it's not like you're making a fuck ton of money from Spotify specifically, but you can tip on the thing. So it's just like Bandcamp, where you can actually like be like, I actually want to pay you for this, and like tip the person. You can also sell merch through it as well. So it's gonna.
I missed what the thing you just said.
It's
What-
a new streaming. It's a new Spotify.
What's
so
it called?
I can find it for you.
Because
I'll tweet about it later
my idea
today.
for fucking ever. I'm glad someone's done it.
Sorry?
I've had this tipping idea forever.
Oh,
and like I'm
it's
no,
already
no,
been
I'm not
done in
gonna.
China.
I'm not gonna do anything about it, but I'm glad someone's doing it. Where like
I love it.
Like-
Honestly, yeah. So like, if you ever have an idea, just look if it's been done in China first, because that's usually what happens. Honestly, it's been already developed for 10 years. It's fucked. How much foresight they had about what was going to happen within our streaming world. So it's literally exactly like Spotify. The discovery tools are really cool as well, like in terms of playlisting and things like that. They tap on artists to curate playlists as well, which is like very important. And yeah, you can just literally like tip somebody on it. You can sell merch through it, just like Bandcamp, and it is the next wave of our industry. I'm very fucking certain. So I'm really excited. I'm gonna tweet my I'm at Reach Social CA, so in like the next hour, I'll go in and tweet all of my predictions for the next year, some of which are already coming true. Like Snapchat is done. Snapchat's not gonna be a thing this time next year whatsoever, which I'm just so excited about. We never liked it in the first place. Vain little teenagers taking photos of themselves. No one needs more of that. Sorry, it's so basically what you have to think of these social platforms as well, it's like Instagram, gives you photo, YouTube is video, Twitter is short time, real time information, and Facebook is long form. So what Instagram did, they're like, LOL, Snapchat, you're trying to do this. People just want stories and they want filters. We'll fucking give them dog face. I don't care. Like, sure. Like, people try to get rid of that with makeup, and then like they try to put it back on. You know what I mean? With a filter. So it's like, yeah. So basically, all these social spaces are like, we have the user base, so we're just gonna wipe out whoever tries to come up. So the only one I think is actually gonna succeed is this new streaming service. In China, they don't use Spotify anymore. So if you look at your actual your stats, when you look at Spotify for artists, a lot of people get really confused as to why China doesn't show up on the map. I'll find it for you. I promise you, I'll find it. The bugs in your ears are going to search, right?
No. We're not just gonna start searching Chinese
Okay,
websites.
other best practices for Facebook. So on the side here, you can add all the tabs, like in terms of like her socials. So I'd go ahead and
I'm
do
not
that.
working with her on socials, but
Just in
but
general.
like,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just saying. Then. Who does her socials?
She does, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Just like in general, it's just good to pick apart anything really, because even though this is Reni's page, it's basically universal, like the mistakes people make. So I'm just gonna jump to somebody else in the room. Just is anybody on the urban track here? Like anybody do hip hop, R&B, any of that kind of stuff? Work with an artist? If not, okay. What's your stuff? Do you want to look at your stuff?
No.
And that's totally fine. Yeah. Do you want to look at anything of yours just because you were here first, or like even an artist you've been looking at and I can pick them apart? I picked apart Drake last year. I mean, like.
I work with Natalie Lynn.
Natalie? Okay, totally. I love Natalie. She's so sweet. Well, I thought I liked this already. Weird. Okay. So this is really smart. Also, I liked her Polaroid. That last year she did it, and then this year she revamped it. And it was literally like, this is Natalie. I knew it when I saw it because she did the Polaroids last year when she was here, so that's like her festival thing, and I fucking love that. So that's very strong branding, but it is very much Natalie branding. So smart cookie. Anyway, so oh wow, there is the actual city and the name, and wow, there is the times. You know how many people are like playing at Nova Scotia Music Week this week and they don't even fucking say where they're playing or the time? It's like actually like mind-boggling. I legitimately have been commenting on people's socials, like, when do you play? Why did you not post it? Because I think that's why I'm here. So if you want me to stop harassing artists, anybody from the festival can tell me, but otherwise I'll continue. But yeah, basically, like, this is really awesome that she did this. What I would do is I would change that, though, right away this morning, because it's now not the festival anymore. So make sure that, like, this doesn't ever die down. Also, it only has a November 1st one though, not the November 2nd one. And I know that she wanted to probably push the full band show, but unfortunately when it comes to festival stuff, you might alienate partners and stuff like that, because I personally did not have time to go to this one, but I would have went to this one.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily going to click this for more information because I thought that this was the information, right? So it's not even like sometimes like I know you want to push to full band and people do, but like people sometimes just don't have the time to see that one and you're just losing a bunch of other audience. So just to be careful that way as well. So these are the little tabs I was talking about on the side. She does need to add one for Twitter though as well because it's not here. So it just looks a bit.
Doesn't use Twitter.
That's not a thing. What a fucking luxury,
She's just like,
princess.
I'm bad at
sorry.
Twitter.
No. No one has the luxury to not use one of the major four social spaces. That is legitimately very entitled, in my opinion, because just because you don't like something, oh yeah, some bitchin'. Devin's like, I'm coming in. She said entitled. I want to hear this. Basically, it's like it is because it's like okay. So my favorite social space is Instagram. What's yours?
Instagram.
Okay, Sarah.
Instagram.
Okay, yeah. Does anybody like Twitter in this room for the experiment? I also like Twitter for real-time information. If anything happens in the world, like something fucked up happened a few days ago in Ferguson and it was nowhere online and I was really fucking pissed and I was like seeing stories from my friends but I couldn't find it. Like no news was covering it, nothing like that. So I went on Twitter and I found out exactly what happened like that because everyone was talking about it there because again, it's all in real time. So if anything happens in the world, I don't go to the news. Like, come on, Fox. Like, come on. Like, right? Like, they fuck us over all the time. And they curate stories, right? So I get stories from real people instead. And that's why I use Twitter. So Twitter is a very essential tool. And it's the only way you can talk directly to other artists, really. Because Instagram blocks it, like, in other messages and stuff like that is legitimately the only way. And I've seen people, like, grow their careers just by, like, hustling on Twitter. So, especially in hip-hop. Hip-hop is, like, you need to be on Twitter for hip-hop. The amount of curators and producers and like just people online, like journalists and stuff that you can find. I have a list on my Twitter if anyone's interested called HHC, which is Hip Hop Canada, which is like my favorite list of people that I like to network with within like it's not just Canadian people though, but it has like journalists from like Fader that write for hip hop and like just like different collectives of people. So it's really important to like curate that kind of stuff as well. I also create lists when I go on tour, so it's easy for me to check up with the support acts are actually supporting at the venues. I just add them all to a list, and I just go through the list. I'm like, you didn't tweet today, show's today, the fuck's wrong with you? Like, it's just easy to make, you can just make things a bit easier for you, so, okay. Pitch. So this wasn't looped in. Make sure that like she's looping in everything on her socials like consistently. I wonder if she's responding to comments.
So
Okay.
what do you mean by looping?
So when you are talking about a page, you should be like looping. It's like actual the term for it. So I'll show you how to do it because I can't say it otherwise. So I'm right here. So say I want to talk about. Are we not friends?
He's up there.
Friends on what?
Do I not have friends?
In real life.
I'm your friend.
Devin. Okay, so this is Devin, right? So I'm talking about Devin. So Devin is a friend. Devin. Cool?
Thank you.
So that's basically how you loop in. If you are trying to loop in a page and you can't loop in the page, so say I'm like doing this. Natalie Lynn. Okay, watch. So Natalie, like, oh, which Natalie is it? Look at their page. This is the tag to loop in at the end of the URL. So you just like, it's a little trick. So I just do @ and it should pop up. There you go. See? So it's just a little way to get it right away in case you can't figure it out. So, but yeah, that's really just like how you do it. So it just wasn't like there. And the thing is, like, people get notified when you're looped in, right? So Nova Scotia Music, they don't share on Facebook, but they might have shared if, you know, that's that kind of partner, right? So, yeah, things like that. Okay, let's talk to someone else. Does anybody want me to look at their Instagram?
I had put in my website. You want to
Oh, sure,
switch
that'd
up
be
a
cool.
bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your website?
It's www.bradenlam.com. BRADENLAM.
should not be more than like it really shouldn't be more than a landing page these days. So I can show you mine. Mine is like fucking so simple because it just basically, everybody is finding stuff on social, so you really don't want to push people to a thing that they're not going to even bother with, right? So you can't like really, you can sell only so much on your website unless you're gonna like invest in things like Google Analytic style ads where you can like push people via pixels back to your website, which is like a very high level ad type. Then it's fun. Like don't even bother as an artist. Use it as like a landing page. So, though this is all amazing on the side and very, very, very freaking vital that you actually have this. So thank you. Let's just go through your tabs. Okay, this is great to have here. And look, this is like a literal perfect thing if you really do want to have streaming on your website. A lot of people use the free streaming services and there's no, again, like with SoundCloud, it doesn't go anywhere. It like sits in the back end of your website and you can't prove to anybody that anything happened. So this will at least attribute to some streams on your Spotify, which is exactly what you need to be doing. For your videos, you only should have 2 videos maximum ever on your website. One is the one that you're pushing and the other one's a live one. Because if you ever want to like go Europe down, they don't give a shit about your music videos, they care about your live videos. So you need to appease like both sides of the world, and too much is saturating unless you're on like an album campaign specifically for this. And then I would create a playlist where this is like literally a link to a playlist instead, where it has all the videos just playing through of the music videos for that series. Let's learn about okay. Oh wow, it's a normal bio that doesn't, I think I wouldn't shoot myself if I saw this, honestly, because sometimes I get like factor bios that are like 4 pages and people are like, I went to high school here, my best friend's name as a child was this, my invisible friend's name, and I'm like, oh, fuck off, like no one wants to actually do that, seriously. So like, and I don't care, like nobody cares, to be honest. This is like a very great, you notice, you know where you're from, what your influences are, what's coming up for you, and that's so it's perfect. And then the most important part of any bio ever is book books. So who's Bob?
He used to be with CBC. He's a reviewer.
Yeah, top 100.
I know a lot Bob. I don't know that Bob,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in this industry. I just don't know him. So
He's well known on the East
Yeah,
Coast.
East Coast,
for sure.
Put where the funds from there, right?
Yeah,
Smag is
little
fine
comma.
because that's a magazine. The Coast Halifax, Canadian Beats. That Mornings, I'm assuming that's also a magazine or a blog.
Yeah, cool.
Like, so that's the thing, but when you have somebody's name, you always have to attribute to where they're from. Because it just like, yeah. And then where they're from at the time, like, right? Like, you can also update that, so be careful if he's not at CBC anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it should always be, again, the most recent press hits. So how many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You should have 5 max. Cool? That's also what people want to see in terms of press release. You should have 5 max in your press release, no less than 5 as well. And make sure that you're actually pulling some for ads and stuff once in a while. Where you can like create really cool ads where it's just a quote book, like the Justin Bieber one. Imagine if that just went out as an ad to boost for page likes for you. People would fucking like it if you targeted Justin Bieber's fans, right? People be like, oh my god, a new Bieb. Oh yeah, right? Like
That was like a jokes quote too that I just like put in there for fun. Like
yeah, I do that too.
It was like in the event thing on the coast, and I thought it was hilarious.
No,
so,
those are the things that stick. So I sent out a press release for tea yesterday, and literally one of the things was, this is so fucking good that I almost peed my pants. And that is one that everyone is like, I really want to review this now because of that one pull quote. Because I'm like, this is impossible to ignore. Do you know what I mean? That's a really interesting pull quote. So you have to find those ones as well. Bands in Town, I love it so much. I'm glad that you have your passions here too. It's very important too for the level that you're at for people to see what you've been doing. But for Bands in Town, I use it because it provides analytics as to where people are clicking your tickets. So when I decide to support ads for artists that I work with. It's not agents, it's me, because I look at people's analytics and I'm like, this person, people are clicking tickets via Bands in Town, they are streaming on Spotify. So with these 2 pieces of data that you can't lie with, because numbers don't lie, can you tell me that I don't deserve a show in this market? very easy to prove it. And then I can also suss out on the other side people that are like, I deserve to be on this tour. I'm like, no, you do not. So I've been able to like really strategically send people on tour over the past few years. I started to do it for like Coalition, where I used to work. 4 years ago, where I suggested that we should change our model in terms of how we pick support apps to get like the suggestions, like, because then now a lot of times people will give you like, here's 4 to choose from, but I suss out the best one in that sense. So yeah, it's kind of interesting that way. Yeah.
So you're saying you're using your analytics to go on tour, but do you then go to the booking agency and say, well, look at my analytics, or do you do a pre-screen, or how are you proving?
That's what I do though, because so I literally, like with Bands in Town, when you start to use Bands in Town, people from all over the world, when they click to look at your tour dates, it shows where they're clicking from. So if I'm clicking from Truro, technically I'm in Truro right now, so it's going to show like that a lot of us are like trying to find different dates in Truro, so it might map weird, saying that like we're all like, what, Truro's like a fucking hotspot.
Yeah.
It is during November. I mean, like, right? So, but yeah, otherwise, like, that's what I do. I literally take the analytics from where people are clicking tickets, where they bought in the past, plus the streaming, and then obviously analytics from socials. That's a given. And I literally provide like a little package for like tours saying, hey, this is who should be on, this is who shouldn't, this is like where we should hit, this is where we're going to need to spend advertising money because we don't have as much there. So it's really easy to map out your entire tour just based off of this stuff in combination. So I think things are going to be just moving forward in the future to that kind of model, especially with press as well. Like I'm providing press a lot of analytics too. Like we have like a few things again coming up for stateside, just because we have people in the States that I can prove with analytics. So it's so easy for a press person to be like, here you go, we have the audience here, please give us a blog, right? So people just need to like think like that. You need to just train your brain, unfortunately, and start to think that way when it comes to your clients. So okay, let's go to somebody else. I think it goes. Does this go to 1040? Okay. Anyone else want me to?
Can I throw out one just quick question? But
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Is there, so I make this website just on my laptop, and you can tell that like it's like on a wide screen it looks very different. Like it has the
Okay,
extra.
yeah, I was gonna say as well, like you have to optimize every single thing in your life on mobile, like every single
Yeah,
thing.
and
So
that, yeah.
even when you're putting up photos and like content pieces, you'll see on my socials especially, like I have like graphics, but they're sized differently for every single social site. Even Twitter posts, you can size graphics for Twitter posts specifically, so it stays in the window. So everything should always be optimized for the platform and for mobile, and you have to test on multiple platforms. So where did you design this? Is it your own design, or did you use a platform?
Wix. Yeah.
Wix, okay. It's okay, no, I like her, so she's one of the most great. Yeah, she's just sweet. I was like, yeah, so basically, I don't really mess with Wix. Squarespace is my favorite just because it's so easy to use, and then they automatically optimize for you for mobile, so it's like you don't even have to pay somebody to look for you. They also, when they're doing their test, you should test also on like get somebody like with a different size phone than you. Like if you have an iPhone, get somebody with an Android. Don't only look on Chrome or Firefox. Open up Internet Explorer for the first time in 15 years. And be like, wow, how does this look? Because let me fucking tell you how sometimes I have meetings with older industry and they're like, Internet Explorer is the only Explorer other than like James Bond. And, like, and I'm like, yeah. The other one with the swinging rope, I can't. Okay, next. Who wants to go? Hanka, why don't we look at one of yours, because you're hip hop track for sure. So unfortunately this is an urban one.
Zamira.
Zamira, okay. Where do you want me to look? Not her Instagram, because she's fine there, we know that. So
Okay,
take apart
Facebook. I
somewhere
think we're
else.
having problems on our Facebook.
Okay, so okay, how do you spell her name again?
So Camara.
Look, I've looked it up before. It's interesting how her fans, like, how little she has on here compared to her Instagram.
Yes.
Very interesting. I think that honestly, like, just a tiny bit of pushing towards, like, on her Instagram, if she reminds people that she has a Twitter and she has a Facebook, that might be, like, a smart idea, just
Because somebody told me in the past, so I was looking at the same thing, like how is it that there's so much difference? Because on our Instagram, she has almost 20,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, but then somebody told me just focus on the social media, provide information for the other platforms, just focus on the one that works the best.
Exactly, because it's the one where you know that the fans are
right,
sure.
all these different
That I
ones.
agree with, but there is some stuff you can do to clean it up, especially just because now that you're moving towards different territories, they want to see like the full rounded thing. So you can add tabs for her on the side here for all of her different socials. So over here you can have a Twitter tab, an Instagram tab, a YouTube. So you can like push to different things.
Do you feel like we should have the Instagram going towards the Facebook because the PR agency in the US says no, we don't want it to look mechanical?
No, I don't like it. So I am very strategic as to what I send. I mean, you should never ever send anything from Instagram to Twitter. Like that's like the most sacrilege thing you could possibly do. And every time I see it, I feel like a kid who loses his soul. So I throw that out there. So don't fucking do it.
Yeah, so
like it's just really bad. It's like 101. So over here, you need a description here for her.
Right.
So even if it's like just pushing to like whatever like she's working on right now, or even to like her Instagram, because you know that's where people are. Do you know what I mean? Because right now I know that there's nothing released.
right.
She's so pretty that like she could model. So I love her plus photos always, and like her banners are never. Okay, so this is perfect. The second that I get to the page, I can see that there's a pin post and I can listen to music. So I have a theory that if you have to scroll more than 1, 2, 3 on like an Instagram or a page and you can't see a piece of music or why you're actually there, then the person isn't doing their strategy correctly. There is ways to bury stuff like that instead of like, say you have like a cool campaign going out and you're like, well, how can I possibly show people my music if I'm so aesthetic and like all that bullshit. So I'll show you what we did with T. And I'll show you my friend Macy as well, because I'm just obsessed with her Instagram right now. But with T, we're rolling out like a new, just basically like a new series right now, and we're really changing the branding over. So now people do these multiple square posts, which is a great idea, like when you want to command attention. The only thing is you have to remember that there has to be some music somewhere within it. So you can bury a video here, but as you can see, I've buried music in every single one of these. So over here, there's music buried as well. So it's just a strategic way to go about it, where you're not like necessarily throwing it in people's face like, here is my music, where you're like more like doing it in like a subtle, sexy way.
That's like Anderson .Paak's Instagram.
Anderson .Paak's my favorite person.
Like,
legitimately, he's been doing it since day one.
but now he's stopped. Now he's doing like normal stuff.
Is
got
he?
He got rid of all like the beautiful like graphics, and he sold them actually, which was interesting. You could actually go online and buy prints of all the graphics that he had
That's
as his
weird.
Instagram feed.
Yeah, he was. That
But
was
now
like,
it's
my
like
favorite.
normal, like super scrappy stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe he's just not working with it, because you know he designed all that shit too, right? He's a visual artist as well, so I think that he just doesn't have time anymore, maybe, because he also he's like raising his son right now. I don't know if you noticed, so
No,
it's like.
but also
yeah.
because I think he is finalizing his music project, his actual music project. He's about to come out.
With another
mixing
video.
the
I
record
wondered if
and
he'll do it
everything.
again, because it was
Yeah.
great. 'Cause
Yeah.
all the videos would slide.
Yeah,
I
think
know.
Maybe they're gearing up for, or it doesn't match the music coming out or something. But
Yeah,
there's-
exactly. So that's why we like did this like break, right? Like as you can see, like underneath, it's like just tees other than the crops, pretty normal. So there's this cool app I was talking about yesterday, but it's my favorite thing. It's called Cleaner, and it is an app for Instagram that's like $4 a month if you go pro, and you can basically hide a ton of photos with it. So you can archive it. You don't have to necessarily delete it. You can also mass download all of your photos, which is awesome. So I'm going to basically be cleaning up all my shit in the next few weeks, where like my cat and dog photos are going, so save them right now if you want them. But I need to clean up my stuff where it's like showing, yes, I am a member of the music industry, because especially now that I live like out west on a farm and not in Toronto anymore, it's like basically dog, farm, dog, cat, farm, dog. Because I'm not going to be like, I'm on the call with Sony, hey Spotify stuff, you know what I mean? It's just like not sexy. So I'm going to really curate my stuff, going back to like showing I was backstage with Kendrick once, I am a real human. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, just want like people to remember who I am. So I need to fix my own stuff. I'm not exempt from any of this shit, right? We're all humans. So.
How do you determine how many of these, because you're doing 12 at the time.
So it depends on the size of the image. This was
Yeah.
a normal square because it's a single art, so that's why I did the 9. For this one, because it was a long press photo, I had to do the 12.
Okay.
So that's how I determine it's based off the size of the photo. My trick is going to this website. imgonline.com.ua, and it cuts it for you and sizes it to Instagram. It is so easy. The only thing you have to remember is the way to upload is backwards. So you might screw yourself over a bit that way. May title them correctly, like number-wise. Just be very careful and I have a test account that no one knows about. So I test every single one of these before, so I make sure that it goes up right, sized properly. Because when you're doing a huge rollout like this, you're just gonna, if you have to delete any of it, you're clouding it anyways by doing a huge rollout. So you have to be very, very careful. So I use this little tool. There's so many really good things like that online. Let's keep going through her stuff. This, I would try to make a photo go along with this, so there's no photos that actually like depend it. And I like that she's like actually trying to like engage people though by asking questions.
But for some reason, on Facebook, nobody is responding. On Instagram, if she does like a quiz, well, compared to Instagram, she'll do a quiz on Instagram and she'll get 2,000 people to respond.
Yeah, because she just doesn't have the fan base here, right? And you have to think about it that it is like very saturated. The less and less she does on here, the less is gonna happen, right? So unfortunately, you just have to like try to make it like a focus and try to develop a strategy for those platforms, because we know she's fine on Instagram. So what can we do that's cool, that is unique, that we can get people going with on Facebook, whether it's like contesting or like collaboration and stuff like that. I honestly think knowing what's coming up in the next year, if you have like a cool strategy down where you like maybe even like instead of Instagram lives, you do Facebook lives with those people in the different communities, that's gonna start to boost it up. And when it comes to premieres on Facebook as well, you can actually take a partner in premieres. So you can take those other artists, like say you're premiering a collaborative effort, you can take the other artists that are in that effort as well, and it premieres on their page too, so you share the views.
Okay.
It is the most important thing you possibly do, especially when you're putting out like tour trailers and things like that as well.
Do you also think that because when you go on Facebook Live, for instance, and you invite somebody in your conversation, they also, all their fans also get a notification.
Exactly.
So
you go live as a page as like a co-presenter basically, right? So, and there's a lot of opportunity as well. Like Facebook really likes when people go live. They have opportunities like to go live in their offices when you're in Toronto and stuff like that as well. Like it's really cool, like their whole live side of it. And I've produced a lot of really cool live stuff at Facebook. I did International Women's Day for Canada at Facebook, and I had 4 different artists talking about different things we as women, like intersectional feminism and the importance of it, missing and murdered Aboriginal women, how it is being a woman in music in general, and then mansplaining is fuck that, because it was like a huge thing last year, especially around that time. So it was really interesting, but like we ran and did like a full production day at Facebook, so there are those opportunities as well to start to connect with these different partners, DSPs. Spotify does it as well. We did like an in-studio thing with Scott Hellman. So these are, for me, especially because it's like, for when I took the people in for International Women's Day, not a single one of those artists had a label. It was Witch Prophet. She's fucking amazing. If no one knows her, she's from Canada. She's like a queen. Brooklyn Doran, Nice Horse, and Iskway. So it was like very well-rounded in terms of music, like different cultures and everything. Not a single one of them. Like, so Facebook doesn't necessarily care as much as you think that they do. You have to be careful though with the lives to not do them so often, because they recommend going live only once a month, always promoting in advance, always scheduling in advance so people know. And
do you feel like, because there was a post that sort of went viral where she's like commenting on people's comments of her
yes
video.
So if you know what works for her funny side, so keep trying to engage that kind of side, even if it's just like weekly reviews with Zamara on Facebook, where she's like, this is what happened in my week, I fucking went here and this person said this, and I was like, excuse me, because you know that's her personality, right? Like you can use those points that are so like amazing about her and those like different skill sets that she has and just translate it over here.
But should we then promote the post that's already doing good, because that's what they're doing now, or should we try the product that we feel, or the content that we feel that everybody should see, should we put money into that?
First the viral one, because the viral one is going viral. Obviously I put like the tiniest bit behind it because you can get even more people from it. The thing is though, is like a lot of people spend advertising money a bit weirdly, so I would wait till it dies down a bit and then boost it again, right? Just like with your single, I would never put personally, I'd never put a ad up for a single the day that the singles drop, because you're going to be paying for people that would have listened to it anyways. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially in your market. So if you do want to do those ads, make sure that you're not targeting it to your fan base at all, but where you want to grow to. But yeah, I would be like, we can always talk later about Samira, but like, I would be like very strategic just of how the next year, like how I know it's going to go for her, that you really need to start to develop these other spaces. And it might be as simple as, again, pushing people from her Instagram, just reminding them. Because that might not even be their favorite platform. That just might be where they discover her, right? So they might actually prefer to engage with her on these other ones, right? You just have to give them the opportunity to. Because I didn't even, like, honestly, like, I just thought, like, again, people sometimes confuse her as an Instagram influencer, and you want to really get the fuck away from that. So make sure that you're reminding people that she's on this, she's an artist, and they can, like, get her events, get everything else on this. So Instagram, really cool update with Instagram is they're going to roll out an events tab within the next year. I'm fucking so stoked for that. So bye, Facebook. I think Facebook's going to start to slowly die down because of that, and just be a place, I said yesterday, would just be a place where we see people's birthdays and then delete them because we don't want to talk to them anymore. It's literally a reminder for like people that you don't know anymore, like, oh, it's your birthday. And that's what I do. I clean up my friends list on people's birthdays. I'm like, I haven't talked to you in a year. Happy birthday. I'm cleaning your life up. You're welcome. That's your present. But yeah, so they were going to roll out an events tab, and I'm so excited for it because I think it's just going to change the way that we do things a bit as well, where you can actually start to push people towards things on Instagram instead of like directing them to something else. I want to go through Linktree for a second, just because it's a very important little Instagram tool. So this is my Linktree. It's very much branded me. So instead of having a link in a bio that's just a Spotify, just a Bitly, just whatever the hell, or like your music video, you have to switch it every 2 seconds, I have a Linktree, so it directs to many things. So that doesn't mean I don't use smart URLs. My smart URLs are just buried in here instead. So if I click this, it's actually a smart URL. And this is an article. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like there's different things that you can possibly vary within your, and that's what I use, and you can brand this completely to your own stuff. My socials are at the bottom. People can email me if they want, so I don't necessarily have to like have my email in here either. It's just perfect. Honestly, I'm really, really, don't look at my followers. I just started my company. There you go. Yeah, so basically, Linktree is honestly just like the best thing in terms of Instagram, and there is analytics behind it as well that you can use.
So you can see exactly what they're clicking on when they go.
Yeah, I can click and see exactly what it's clicking on, and then of course, like I just like legitimately, it's so easy for me to just like push to like my link in bio instead of like, especially when people are discovering old content, when you're getting new fans, like they're gonna start to like look for your old stuff, and maybe they want to engage with an old song, and they're not gonna have the opportunity to, because like you literally, like they have to go searching for it. I'm telling you, this, any time you give somebody an extra step, they're not gonna take it, because our world is so tangible right now with everything at our fingertips that they won't go searching for it themselves unless like you're like Beyonce. I'd search for Beyonce, but no one, you know what I mean though? But like it's very, very rare. Like we do not have many Beyoncés in the world. So
Do you suggest a limit for how many links you have on Linktree?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't do like anything past, like I'm not gonna like do like Sweet Baby by T or something like that, right? I'm just doing what I'm pushing out specifically. I'm actually gonna obviously remove this vote thing. That's done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like I mean, I wouldn't do more than like 10, to be honest, just because again, people are gonna have to keep scrolling through stuff. But it again depends on what you are pushing, right? What your strategy is. Say you have an album thing where you're like, I'm gonna tease every single song on my album before it's released. You can strategically use Linktree to be like first song, second song, third, fourth, fifth, and do it with different partners even to get that love, right? So so we have like 2 minutes. So does anybody have any this one's a really, really short one, so does anyone have any last minute questions or anything like that?
I was curious, unless you've already talked about it, what are your thoughts on building an email list?
Oh, I love, email marketing is like very, very important still. It is not dead in the slightest. People get it right to their inbox or guarantee that it goes into their inbox. You just have to be very careful with the Castle law, which is the Canadian anti-spam legislation, that you're having people sign up properly for your email lists. I don't have time to explain the law, so just look into it of how, like, you can't basically have like a checkbox anymore for people to sign up. They have to physically type out their information, get a confirmation, and accept it. So even soliciting people in Canada, you're only allowed one cold email, and then they can sue you. So that's really fun. So if anybody's like really soliciting you, just threaten to sue. Like, not that you're gonna actually do it, just be like, fuck you, I'm gonna sue you. Like, drop in the law. I had to do that, unfortunately, the other day because somebody won't remove me from their mailing list because it's manual. Like an artist from Toronto, and I literally just like dropped in the link to the thing, and then another link to my lawyer. There was like 2 links in the response.
Yeah.
Like, this is my lawyer's website, this is the Castle Law website. Dare you to fucking email me again. Not that I'm gonna ever do that, especially as an independent artist, but I'm just like getting sick of getting them, to be honest. So, especially because it's to like my personal email. I'm like, this is only for clothing discounts. What are you doing? Yeah, it's really smart, really, really smart. And then you can super serve your fan base too within your email list by giving them things before, like in advance, like make sure that they have a reason to be there, basically. So, email once a month though, or else what the fuck's the point of having them?
We've just been doing it by saying like you'll get 3 free downloads if you sign up. But I don't know if people care what downloads anymore, so they might
No,
be
they want them on the streaming sites, right? I would suggest to be like you get a snip of the new music video before anybody else sees it, or a little piece of the new song, or I have a photo of Felicity once a week for you that no one else will see. I'd fucking sign up for that, to be honest. I'd be like, yes, baby marketing, I love it. So, you know what I mean though? So, yeah. What's up, John?
Just a question, like, if you're on MailChimp, you're covered with all the law
Yeah,
stuff, right?
MailChimp's the only service that actually covers that all for
Okay,
you,
so
where
you
they'll
don't have to worry
automatically
about
scrub
that
your list for you. They comply to the law completely, so I really like MailChimp for that. Thanks, John. Want to come up here? I'm just joking, it's done.
I'm like a 8
I'm
months
gonna
up.
leave my cards at the table here in case anybody wants to grab one, and you can connect with me anytime online at Beach Social CA. That's it. Thanks for listening to the mini talk.